Good call. Thank you. All right. Hello, welcome. I should start over. It's just easier that way for video's sake. Do another cut all the way back. All right. Take 3. Hi, welcome to another episode of Backyard Progression, where I go through my backyard and kind of show off the forestry and stuff that I've been working on. Happy New Year to everyone. This was last week. It was still snowy. It was still hunting season. So I couldn't really get out to show off what's been going on or fix any of the stuff that went down. I don't, actually. I will keep that in mind for a recommendation. But this was last week. Uh, Still super snowy. We had that giant storm. We didn't get nearly as bad as Buffalo did, but all the same, we got about 2 feet of snow. Um, it's a mess, and trudging through it is infinitely harder than just walking. There's also the subtle problem of your boots getting wet. Even if you have waterproof boots, there can still be little bits of snow that go through. That's a shame. Uh, but this tree fell. Kind of see how in the way it is. I was able to take care of that in this past week. The creek is frozen over here and is accumulating snow. A bunch of different things have fallen. We're going to get a bunch of flooding in the coming week. But I have to guess here where the creek is. So that's not great because, again, wet boots are the worst, and even worse when it's sub-zero. So anyway, moving through, again, trying to avoid this space because it generally, when it floods, has a bunch of water in there. So overall, I feel like I just have to accept that hunting season is going to be a bit of a depressed time for me, because I can't really get out and work the way I normally do. It was so good to get my axe out and my saw and just like go to town. The bridge is currently gone, but I'll fix that in the coming week. For here, creek is running underneath, but all the same, you can't really see it because of the everything freezing over. And that's been a weird trend of this. Right, I just mean below 0 Celsius. Well, yeah, below 0 Celsius. It's frozen, not absolute 0. Anyway, moving through, it's just cold and gross, and I hate it. But overall, I still feel like in this kind of weather I can get out and do stuff. It was merely the threat of being shot and dying that, uh, sucks, and I wanted to avoid. So, anyway, I'm really happy with how I've improved this trail, trying to improve this little area so it drains better from the reservoir up there. It's been a bit of a damming issue here. Like, stuff keeps getting caught up in the creek, and I've been trying to make it better. So, moving forward, we have much more of the storm damage. Just everything getting really aggressively trampled by the snow. I was able to take out a lot of the rose bush over on the side coming up here. And it was kind of a mess because of different fallen trees making it block the path and just like being reconformed to a better space. No, sure can't. Anyway, it's great to be out in this situation, like just being able to see all of the destructive force of nature. It's so wild to really work with this kind of space, and I'm so appreciative of it that I have a workout that I can make something better in the meantime. Like every stick I move, every path I work through is making the land better, and it will have lasting value. And that means a lot to me, to have this kind of space and being able to really work through it. This is so wild. That's cute. I like that joke. Um, so anyway, I really need to get this pile of stuff out. And that's just another project. It's really hard to go this deep and then have a project. I really tend to focus on like whatever I feel when I'm out. I just try to take my tools and just feel out what needs work on. So in the near future, that might be a thing, but not currently. So as much as I like having goals and I like having structure, I find with activity, it's usually just better to go with what feels right. Go with what takes your interest and really move with it and allow yourself the freedom to engage the way it wants to. Your body is going to react better one way or the other. All right, again, guessing where the creek is and just actively jumped it. Had to use that tree as a bit of a landing to help make sure that I didn't fall backwards into it. So progressing forward here, we've got this tree is kind of fallen, and I just brought it all the way down to make sure that like it's not going to cause further issue. We've got this is this type of damage that I was talking about where it's so much heft on the trees that they're actively splitting in half from the weight of the snow. Like they're breaking in the middle, not like snapping off, which is such a cool and weird effect to see. And I don't know many other places that get to see that kind of thing. It's so weird to have snow fall so much and so heavy that it breaks trees. Like just completely crushes them, not breaks off branches so much. Props to the tree too, though, like being able to withstand that kind of pressure until that point and not just having limbs break off. It's inspiring in a way, but in too many times people will take on burdens like that until they get crushed by the weight of everything. I'm reminded of the song from Encanto. Like, it's important to check on the strong people in your life. It's important to uh, be kind in these moments and in your needs, and be aware of other people and what they're going through. There's so much out there that's really tough, and not all burdens are very physically seen. So be good, be kind. It sucks out there. If everyone were a little kinder, the world would be a better place. So I try to really put that into my own work, put that into like my everyday life and how I interact. So continuing on, we've got just so much that could be expanded. I really want to get rid of some of this, like these non. Well, let me put it this way. I'd like to get rid of a bunch of these invasive plants and clean up the space to be better in line with how nature should be here. It's a bit too much of a thicket. Handling some of these down trees has been really good. That's incredibly helpful and works out a lot better. It is important to leave some though, like shelters for animals and whatnot, making sure the woodpeckers have something to eat so they're not actively destroying trees near properties where, you know, there's things that can be damaged. It's so wild. Like, if I didn't walk this path every day, or not every day, but every week at least, I would not know where we are. It's so disorienting in the snow, even though it's one of the best times to path and track. It's really just like aggressively easy to get lost with everything looking the same. And that's a big problem in games. When everything looks the same, you don't have great markers. And moreover, when you don't have great markers, it's incredibly easy to get lost unless your map is good. And good maps haven't really. Well, there are games that still have bad maps. It's impressive that it can still happen, but it does. Um, and a bad map can really ruin a game. It's unfortunate. Um, One of the ones that comes to mind, it doesn't really ruin the game, but it does make the beginning struggle a lot harder, is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight makes you buy your map, buy the ability to see yourself on the map. It's bad. Like, it's really rough for no reason. I mean, I guess the concept is you'd like grind a little bit to get the map and get everything before you get going, but all the same, like, good mapping and being able to look at things really well, have a good idea of where you are and how to escape into a safer zone is super important. Because I think that was like the biggest like issue a lot of people had with the original Dragon Warrior was they'd walk into a zone and suddenly things are well overpowered for being so close to the beginning of the game. it's a big deterrent saying don't go that way, but it's not clearly marked. There's no indication that you're in danger until you get into a fight. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of an open world, like say the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's a decent map. It's still messed up. Right stick in to recenter should have just been the way things are. Like keeping a map north north or north up is generally the best. When your map rotates with you, it gets really disorienting. So, moreover, it still happens. Games are still, engaging and trying to be good with that. I feel like a mini map can have the option of north be up, but it can rotate with you sometimes and be okay. But being able to drop waypoints and like really draw on your map tends to be one of the better answers for how to make things easily recognized and give yourself notes. I love in my Minecraft playthrough that I've been going through, being able to drop waypoints. Obviously, it's modded, but it's great to just be like, oh, there's something here that I should investigate. Maybe not now, but eventually. There's a dungeon here. There's this type of structure here. There's a blimp, like, and it enriches the experience to be like, I know I can't engage with that right now, or I shouldn't, and being able to come back and see it on the map and be like, oh right, I can go do that. So I like a good map in games. I appreciate when good landmarks exist. And you can kind of tell, like, you don't, in real life, there are some very odd landmarks. A creek is a really good one. But there's similar trees growing at different angles and things. You've got different types of plants, maybe some flowers. It's solid. I was so happy to break this tree up, axe it into little pieces. It was good. It was really cathartic. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for this video. Going into the next, hopefully it doesn't have too many similar issues. So we'll be right back with that. And we're back. And as you can see this week, we've got green grass and no snow, except for that little patch over there. So I was able to pull out a bunch of sticks from this side field here. So that's what this is. There were also some larger branches that needed axe and saw. More stuff to carry over. And it looks like a completely different landscape from one week to another. Which, I don't know. It's so funny in games that actually do show seasons how quarterly they are. Like fall or spring is wet, summer is hot, fall is cool and breezy, and winter is cold and snowy. Not like winter is sometimes really wet and flooding, and this tree is gone. Hell yeah. Sometimes, snow happens all the way into July. Get a really snowy spring. But it would be really interesting for a better dynamic weather generation in games. So I tried to work on pathing this creek a little bit better with the pickaxe, being able to get in there and kind of reassure the creek a direction to help mitigate some of this flooding over here. And it seems to have worked. Like this path was a complete creek yesterday. So getting this kind of evened out worked out really well. Actively making better paths for the water to flow was really good. Found the bridge. Found a different bridge that we were using and used that because it's a little heavier. I want to put some stakes through it. Also, random beer can. Yeah, that flows in sometimes, just trash in general from the creek. So if you ever played like Stardew and there's a can and you're kind of wondering how that happens, that really happens. People are really gross. It sucks. Pollution is kind of everywhere. I also found a reusable Winnie the Pooh like grocery bag. So that's nice. That's something extra. No idea how it got to where it did, but all the same, going to clean up after the creek when it decides to rush. Here's more pathing for the water. This still needs to get moved out and cut up more. But yeah, our wee paths are doing good. And we're looking like a completely different area because of weather being weather. So yeah, it was up to 14 degrees yesterday, so Celsius, obviously. It's something like 56 Fahrenheit, I think. It was nice. So it was good to get out and get a lot done. Super happy with it. There's some damming that's happened I'm not really fond of. I prefer the creek to flow. I feel like we do need some damming in certain places, but I'm not an expert in how that should happen. It'd be really nice to meet up with someone who's big on forestry and how these different things affect. Because I'd like to get places like this, like a branch fell or broke and created this whole ass dam. Look at this. It dammed it up. So, on my way back, I will actually manage that. So that's a nice little bonus. It wasn't too hard to get moving again, but all the same, creek is flowing. So I don't know how much I should worry about that kind of thing. All the same, I do like just clearing that kind of stuff. And like I said, move back like a few secs here. So I was able to clean this rose bush completely out. So you can kind of see that it's a little bit blanker, this space. I also moved a lot of the debris out to here and then out. So it's seamless. You guys never get to see the wood pile that truly existed there. Worked in here a little bit, not a whole lot. Having a way to get these piles out is going to be a thing at some point. Or, that's an idea. I could actively move this wood to a different location and just utilize it for fencing and or making a little mini fireplace. That could be good. Bridges trying their best. I feel like I've got a lot of the bridges set in such a way where they're not doing too bad. Such a good waterfall. Yeah. Love nature sounds. It's a shame my camera doesn't pick them up better, but just the roaring creek really, really pushes my day. It's really good. Some of the stuff being down and sideways and whatnot needs to get worked through, but all the same, just more projects for different days. But this area is nice. When everything isn't grown in, it's really different space. It's amazing how aggressive different parts, different plants can be in inhibiting your path. There's another big damming section that I don't know what to do with. Right in there. Good sounds though. Bonk. Good step. Like just get over. Using the handholds appropriately. And like I had said, I took care of this tree a bit. Still needs a little bit more work, but it's down now. Instead of just being looming to be down. This place could use a bit of a touch up. Just getting rid of some of this extra debris. But it's all progress. Everything I do is making this a little bit nicer, a little bit easier to work through, a little bit easier for next time. It's being kind to your future self and giving yourself projects and making them easier such that it's not a chore to do the thing. You feel good about getting out and doing the thing. And I'm being kind of vague because there's a lot of different aspects to that. Like, if you had a bad board game experience, for example, it can be kind of hard to jump back in. Like, if you just get trounced, like, have the worst game, don't score any points, just like, you messed up, you had a concept, it just didn't work. Or you're like, you just missed a whole rule set and just completely didn't engage with it, and it was the one that got you points and won you the game. There's different aspects of, like, you can have a bad time. I can fall down and get hurt and be really upset about that, and like it can take a while to get back out. But if you try to make notes or make things a little bit better here and there, you can get a lot done. You can make it a lot easier to jump back in. Uh, Games with good quest logs are great for this. Pokemon used to have a little recap, like when you turn down the game, like last time on Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. Like you got this whole like lead up to be like, oh right, that's what I was doing. That's how I play this game. I know how to progress. And that's ultra important to me. Like, I feel like that feature should be in every game. Like, not necessarily trigger every time, but like, if you haven't played for a few days, like, maybe a week minimum, but even like 4 days, it can be like, how did I play this game? What was I doing? Where was I going? And I know streamers deal a lot with that. And even I have a lot of issue, even though I've got a giant notebook of like, this is the stuff I was doing. I make little bookmarks in my JEI to be like, hey, these are factors and things I can go after and things to look for. At the same time, though, I can still have a bad time and get into a scenario where I'm looking for something and don't even know where it exists. So I still am setting myself up for a better time because it would have just been even worse had I not. Like, uh, it's it's a thing in American culture. I feel like that the thought of things possibly being worse emboldens you with a positive feeling that things are okay, they could be much worse. And that's kind of a weird thing to be happy about. But we do. So, like I was saying earlier, here's that dam that happened. Just a lot of sticks and branches and crap. If we free this up, get the leaves out of it, should stick up. Get that moving a little bit. Okay. So that's at least flowing now. But there was a bigger one up ahead that actively needed help. Like, that white foam is an indicator, but it's kind of wild that I have no idea what it is. This stuff, it's not snow. Kind of wild that it's like it shouldn't make sense and it shouldn't happen if it's just water, but I guess it's all the other stuff that goes along with the water. And considering trash ends up there, it's likely that it's something that is some sort of additive. It's probably not great for the wildlife, but all the same, they may or may not adapt and change and grow because we have a lot of wildlife. I had a ermine show up the other day, just like it's nothing. So this was the section that was really dammed up. You can see all the debris Drop the can there for now. I forget to pick that can up. Damn, I'll have to go back there for that. Anyway, just like it's so laid out thick. Like you just take big handfuls of it out, and it just does nothing. So trying to like get enough of it off to really get some of this the bigger sticks out that are holding it together so it can kind of fall apart. So I noticed this one branch here that had fallen that seems like it's a lot of the issue, and you can see it starts opening this up right away. So that's exactly what I want. So also got that branch, which I'm thinking about like using like a hook, but I just pull through, grab the other branch, and start walking. So I will have to go back and pick up that beer can, but all the same, I'll get it. Hauling something like this is an incredible workout. Like you're engaging your shoulders, you got stuff under your arms, and you're just kind of like pulling using all of the muscles of your lower body and like midsection to keep you moving forward and engaging with all of those different systems to really pull through, especially when you're carrying something heavy and wet and it drags, and you have to be aware of like the sticks moving out and like catching different branches. So having a good path is really good. Pop that there for now while I continue carrying the big sticks. Hopefully I caught that. Trying to be better about using the mute function on my mic, since I can easily find that one, whereas the one on my Twitch studio isn't always great to find. But I should probably hotkey it, but if I do that, there is a big chance that I'm going to find that hotkey during a game or something. I'm sure I will find it regardless. But so we're going to use my mic, that mute function. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if I can. Nope, that's not a function I have. Whatever. Anyway, I'm really happy the way this turned out. Boring out these paths really worked out really well. Made the mainland much less soupy, because it is messy out there today. As you can imagine, with all the snow melting. But we're going to take a trip this way, because I try to do this when I remember, so you can get a better view of over here. And I can eventually make a better path to go back this way. Or, I should go forward this way and then back the other way. So I'll try to keep that in mind, to have this be the path for coming down. And that way it completely bypasses the bridge. That'll be good. Yeah. Constantly make things better for your future self. have these plans, being able to look back at your progress and see where things could have been a little bit better, or ways you can do things to make your life easier. So, yeah. I hope everyone has a good new year. I hope 2023 brings positive change for everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Till next week. I'm Bronwyn Kenku. Be sure to follow me on Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, and YouTube if you are watching me on Twitch. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a good and wonderful day. Till next time, peace.
It's gonna have to be a cliffhanger for next time.
Ahead and raid Jorf, because that's where I'm going. So, yeah.
But at least then we have a place where we need to be.
Boop. Yeah. So, let's go raid Jorf. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good one.